There's so many scams that's so normalized. People don't even know that it's scams anymore. This is one of my secret weapons I'm about to share right now.
This is the secret. This is the secret.
That's a secret weapon.
Hey y'all, it's Lvl Up Lyssa. I'm here with Daraine.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, welcome to Lvl Up With Me, the podcast. I know what you do. You do the consumer laws. People ask me like, what is that? They trying to figure out what do you do for real.
For real. Consumer laws are laws put in place by the government, Congress to be specific, that protects consumers from debt collectors, financial institutions, some of these crazy banks, car dealerships, just anything in commerce that would harm the consumer or put the consumer at a disadvantage about the uninformed use of credit and debt collection, plus other things. Congress has federal laws in place called consumer laws to protect the natural consumer.
Oh, word. So there are basically laws put in place to make sure that we safe as like people buying stuff from others.
Correct.
People consuming things online. Look, so I got a question for real. Like, why did you think you were up when you were making $7.25 an hour? Why the hell did you think you was up making $7.25 an hour?
All right. So to understand that or to comprehend that, I'm Jamaican, right? So I wasn't born here like a lot of you. So where a dollar to you here is a dollar here is $150 back home. So even though I was making $7.25 an hour, I wasn't thinking of it in U.S. currency. That was $7.50 or 25 cents multiplied by 150 Jamaican dollars. That's my mindset. So in my mind, I'm killing it too. Everybody that I knew, I was killing it.
You was popping.
I was.
Yeah, so what were you working making that much?
Dairy Queen. So
DQ.
Yeah. So I came here on a school work and travel visa. So I moved from Jamaica. I was in college. I was going to go to med school. And I decided not. I decided I'm going to come to this brand new country with no family here and make it work. So I took a chance on me, got my school work and travel visa, came to New Hampshire, the coldest time of my entire life because I've never felt this type of cold before.
It was different.
My bones were cold. Like there's different levels to cold. There's like, oh, I'm cold and oh, I'm shivering. But when your bones are cold, it is a different. I've never felt cold like that before, and it was quite a culture shock. Being from Jamaica to the complete opposite, New Hampshire.
Crazy. Yeah. So you went from like hot, wearing shorts all year.
Yep. Barefoot too.
Barefoot.
Yep, a little bit. Can't walk barefoot now, but back in the day I could.
To all the way to New Hampshire. And then what did you get into consumer law then? Did you finish college? I know you wanted to go and
No.
What made
so So I decided I'm not going to go to college. My mom got upset, pretty upset. My mom wanted me to come back home. Like no parent wants their child in a foreign country with no family, no support system. So I've been a big advocate of believing in me. So I love my mom to death, but if I had fallen into that pressure and went back home, well, I wouldn't be saving thousands of lives right now. So it was a situation where like sometimes you have to make a decision, right? And the decision that you make, you will not know what the outcome is going to be. But at some point in time, you got to believe in you. And I knew that being in Jamaica for me wasn't enough. I needed more. I needed opportunity because I knew if I had the opportunity, I could transform into something else, become someone else. And I recognized that at a young age.
Right. And a lot of people, they go to college and they realize that it's not worth the money. It's not worth the money. And I really want to know because I hear you're paying $155,000 a year to be working with someone named Myron Golden. And so who is that? And like, what type of impact could he have on your life for you to go from not wanting to go to school, make a bigger commitment, financial commitment, to working with somebody yearly for $155,000 a year?
It's quite the opposite, huh?
Right.
All right. So that's a really good one. All right. That was a really good one. So there's a thing called an investment in yourself. And a lot of people don't believe in themselves to bet on themselves. Like I left the whole country to bet on me. Right? So if I can do that And I know that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I know that there's power in the Word. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word became flesh. Now, I am not a religious person, so y'all don't be getting on this bandwagon. I'm not religious. I am spiritual. I just don't got time for all that other stuff. It's too much confusion. I am spiritual. I'm connected to the Almighty Being, and I'd like to keep it there. So when you start tapping into these things and learning the law of attraction, learning the words that you speak unto yourself, learning the power of water and the things that you say and how it shapes the molecules inside of you, and then you attract certain things to yourself. So I started speaking life into myself, and that has led me now not only to trust myself more, but I found out that going to school is the biggest scam. And it's not education that's the problem. It's the type of education. So learning about Myron Golden, I've seen and I've witnessed before I joined his mentorship. I saw that man close in 27 minutes $3.5 million.
That was enough. That sold you.
I was committed. I was committed, right? And even before that, so when I got fired back in 2021, right, because I was active duty, was from 2016 to 2021, and I got let go because the government overspent, and a month later, I saw like 21 million or billion went to Ukraine?
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I've been active for 6 years. I got a whole kid and everything, and all my, like, that income was gone, right? And right then I recognized that, bro, you have to be able to be in control of your own finances. And it's in that time period, that was kind of the darkest period in my life, because I didn't know where the next dollar was coming from. I didn't know where it was coming from. None of that stuff. I was angry. I was upset because I was supposed to get a job. Like, I know you asked a specific question, but it was so much that led up to this.
Yeah.
Like, I had to become like 3 different persons. In that time span, I had to change. And what was common among all of that was my mind wasn't right.
Your mind wasn't right. Yeah, and I had to face that a few times too. You feel me? Like, being able to be this consistent at a young age is hard. You have to consistently reprogram your mind. And you speak about that a lot. I know that you read Rich Dad Poor Dad 6 times.
Bruh.
6 times.
Bruh.
And then you read Think and Grow Rich.
Bruh.
Well, how did these books reprogram your mind?
So the first thing Robert taught me was that your home is not an asset. And everybody in society, oh, you know, I want a home. Who's paying for it? If you're paying for it, it's not an asset, right? And I started studying Robert. I read all the Rich Dad series, all of them. All of them, from Robert to Tom to Garrett to Kim, all their books.
Were you reading this while you were in the military? Or
oh yeah, I'm going to give you that story, right? So reading all of them, and then I noticed that the way I started thinking started changing. There's certain things now that I'm like, okay, that don't make no sense. For example, I'll give you an example. In the military, we have what is called the VA home loan, right? Everybody's crazy about it, but I think it's the most stupidest thing ever created. What? And a lot of you watching this right now that got VA home loans, you're going to say, oh, Daraine, well, I got a house with nothing down. That's the problem. That's why it's stupid, right? We don't learn what equity is.
That's facts.
We don't know what equity is. We think we need to own everything. No, I need all the equity. So learning what Robert taught me now in Rich Dad Poor Dad and all the other Rich Dad stuff that I started consuming, I learned that the VA home loan is the worst product on the market. And again, a lot of you are going to be upset because I said that. All right, you're going to go get a home. $500,000, maybe $1 million, depending on where you live. Because New York, you ain't really in the Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, Brooklyn. You ain't getting nothing really for $500. It's more $700 and above. You might get something in between, but on a regular, right? And you're gonna go get a VA home loan, 0 down, right? All right, cool. 0, it sounds great. You can do seller financing, all that great stuff. Wrap the closing costs into the loan.
Right.
Wow, I'm zero out of pocket. But you're leveraged out, right? And what that simply means now, if you get a $600,000 home in New York and you use the VA home loan, no money down, right? No money down.
It sound good.
It sound good. No money down. Well, the market tanks. And that $600,000 home now becomes $400,000. You're upside down. And guess what you have? No equity. Because the seller, you already paid the seller all the equity.
Right.
So a lot of people go for these no down payment homes, but dude, you're leveraged out. There is no equity there. And it's going to take you years to build equity. Why? The first 6 to 10 years of your mortgage, most of the payment goes towards interest, very little the principal. Why do you think after 6, 7 years, 8 years, do you want to refinancing is the biggest scam?
Well, I thought the VA home loan was the biggest scam, but
refinancing, there's levels to it.
Refinancing.
If the first 6 to 7 years, majority payment goes to interest,
right?
Well, it means after 7 to 10, maybe 15, it shifts. It starts going to principal, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think they're going to come back and tell you, we're going to drop it 1 point below? So you're looking at that on the front end. Oh, instead of 3%, now I'm going to pay 2%. Well, did you think about the next 5 to 6 years that majority of this payment now is going to go back to interest?
Right.
So now we're 10 years in, with 10 to 12 years now going majority to interest,
right.
Very little the principal. The principal barely shift. You see where I'm going with this?
So basically, the homeowner wouldn't be able to pull out any equity in the
None.
home. They wouldn't be able to liquidate any of the money.
Nope.
And now they're left like still trying to pay off their house forever, and not having any asset.
That's the scam.
That's a scam. And so that's one of the biggest lessons you learn from reading these books.
Correct. I don't want to pay for nothing, right? So Robert says, if the thing doesn't pay you, it's not worth having. Or if you can't get it for free, right? Like he gave the example when he needed, I think it was a Ferrari, and he did an investment, and basically he got it for free. And then he spoke about the house. Like if you're paying for it out of pocket, it's a liability. Right. It must pay you. So multifamilies, those are good because you can live for free and you have money coming in, right? That's good. But if it's a property where you are paying for it and not somebody else, it's a liability.
So you're learning all of this while you're still in the military.
Correct.
But while you're in the military, you're still being pressed like a Hebrew slave.
Oh my God.
you being pressed like a slave from roots in the military. How was that? How was that experience?
All right. So the worst of it was on my deployment, right?
Okay.
So 2020, I deployed to Kuwait, and that's the year everything changed. That's the year I consumed 140 books. Wow. And yeah, a lot of people might be saying, oh, well, Daraine, 140 books. Well, you know what? I needed a radical change. And I knew my biggest enemy was my mind. I needed to fix it. Right? So I had to reprogram everything about me. So when I was in the military, well, I'm still in the military, but when I was deployed, I would always have a book on me, right? And there was just one sergeant, I'm not going to name drop on here, but I was reading, this female sergeant came up to me, E7, right? Came up to me and be like, oh, Sergeant Delevante, if it's not military related, you can't read it. I said, you done lost your motherfucking mind. At that point, really? I swear to God, I was willing to risk it all. Like, I can see, like, you can see the puppet. That's one thing. But when you start changing the way you think, you see the strings. People see the puppet, but they cannot see the strings. I was now seeing the strings, and I saw how people were programmed. And I saw that, like, when it comes to personal growth or career growth personally, the military is not for that. It's not.
No, you're supposed to be a soldier.
You're supposed to be a soldier. So I became a person that didn't fit that profile anymore. Right. I'm not to do what you say, guy. No. If I got something that needs to get done, I'm going to pay somebody to do it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, so like we call that like the gravitropic moment, right? So when you
Okay.
yeah, it's like when you realize you have to put in the work.
Correct.
And that's when you realize.
Correct. So when I was studying, my friends, some of them were fraternizing, some of them were working out, and that's when I gained a lot of weight during that period because I was so in my gravitropic moment that I blocked everything else out. Right? And I started consuming information. So everybody know that I deployed it, right? Most of them are broke, or most of them had to go back another deployment because of financial. I will never go back on another deployment. I am mentally unemployable. Nobody can hire me. But if 2020 never happened, this person right here would have never been here.
Right.
So we have to go through some things sometime to get to our thing. And that's the part with a lot of people. They don't want to go through the thing that's going to create the person that they need to become. So when I went through that, the sergeant telling me that I can't read because, can you imagine somebody telling you can't read?
Yeah, like for real.
Like, bruh.
It really does. Like, that's why I told you, like, you were being pressed like a slave in roots.
It's real. It's real stuff.
Yeah.
And I had to make a decision. Am I going to be a yes man, or am I going to stand up to what I believe in? So the thing about me is when my mind is made up, I don't think that even Jesus himself can change it. Like, I am dead fast committed to the things that I say. So at that time, I said, you didn't lost your motherfucking mind. If you think I'm going to put this book down, whatever assignment I have, my assignments are complete. So I complete my assignment, then I go back to reading my book. But some people don't want to see you elevate. It is real stuff. Like, they will, I'm telling you guys, they will suppress you.
Thanks. Some people don't want to see you win. Some people don't want to see you win.
Bro, I'm telling you, the most resistance I've gotten in life is being in the military. And it was that transition. When I was a yes man, when I was with the 40-40 club, right? A lot of people, they were with the 40-40-40 club. When I left that club, and for those of you who don't know, 40 hours a week for 40 years and 40% off your pension. That's not included inflation that's going up every year, right? But that's a whole nother story. When I left that club and I started believing that I controlled my own income, I printed my own income. I need to become a business person. I need to start producing versus consuming. When I made that switch, that's when a lot of things started opening up. I started meeting people, and this is where Myron came in, because now right on the tail end of that, when I was being let go, because we didn't have any money, right? We overspent on the COVID budget, but then 22 million can go to Ukraine, but whatever. I can tell I'm still salty about that. But a little bit. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me. At the time, I didn't know it was the best thing. Now I can say, all right, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, right? But right off of that, so on the deployment that year, I made about 85,000, right? 1 year of my life gone, 85,000. Got fired, came off of a 7-day challenge with Myron. 30 days later, made $97,000. I knew the math was wrong. That was my moment. I knew the math was wrong.
So look, 30 days after getting out of the mentorship, you made $97,000.
30 days after being let go from the military.
Wow. 30 days after being let go, you made $97,000.
Correct. What I made in a whole year, I just made in a month.
1 month.
Correct.
So you made that in a month. How much have you made in a day? What's the most you ever made in one day?
I'd say about 150,000.
150,000 is the most you made in a day. What were you selling?
Had a conference.
You had a conference. Speak about that, because Myron, you said you watched Myron close. What was it?
3.7 million in 27 minutes.
27 minutes, and I'm sure he was on stage at a conference. So is that what inspired you to start throwing your events? I know you have one coming up.
The Credit Summit. Yo, listen, thank you very much. If y'all haven't gotten y'all ticket for the Credit Summit, make sure y'all locked in. So the Credit Summit, and I'm going to tell you how the Credit Summit came about, but the Credit Summit is September 29th, 30, and October 1st. October 1st, my national holiday. That's when I got fired.
That's when you got fired.
That's when I got fired, right? That's the month I made $97,000. The first time I ever saw that much money at once.
Right.
First time.
First time.
And I was hooked. It was a game changer right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to mentors and why mentorships and mentors are important. So I now knew that I needed more of this education. I now knew that if I'm going to take control of my life financially, no one else can be in charge of my income.
Right.
And that's when I decided that, okay, I know credit, I know consumer law. Now I'm going to turn this into a business and I'm going to become a 6 to 7 figure earner entrepreneur. And that's what happened. It took me a year and a half, but I got there, right? Much faster than I would if I was still working at a job.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
Because there's a lot of people that's working at a job that will never see $1 million in their life.
That's facts. Never. Because it's impossible. You know, it's impossible in most jobs. Is that sometimes you can work a 6-figure job, you can reinvest your money. It's like the rare 1% people talk about that.
Is it really 6-figure though? A lot of people say 6-figure. Oh, I make 100,000. No, you don't, because you pay taxes. 40% of it too. So you really made 60,000 because 40 or maybe 35,000 went to taxes.
So I never really got, what were you selling? I know you were at a conference, but what did you sell at the conference? Was it mentorship?
Yeah. So between conference tickets, educational products, and mentorship, it added up to about like maybe 150, 170. It could be more. I don't really have the numbers,
Right.
but I know it's in that range. And that was the first time in one day. So the goal now is, how do I 10x that? I like 10x and stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out to Grant Cardone. I like 10x rule. I like the 10x formula.
Yeah.
Like go big or go home.
Fact. So you were just selling information, like basically information, right?
Not necessarily selling information. So people buy for one reason and one reason only, because they feel like it. So how do you make someone feel like buying? Well, your job as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, is to solve people's problems.
Right.
Solve people's problems. So what I was doing was, I still am. I am solving people's problem through credit. Every 8 out of 10 people have some form of inaccuracies on their credit. The population in the United States is about 340 million, right? So if every 8 out of 10 person got some errors on their credit report, I mean, that's quite an industry to fix.
Thanks.
Right?
Thanks.
So I came to that conclusion. So I started solving people in this arena, because I remember what credit did for me, because my first car was a 2007 Nissan Altima, 75,000 miles. I couldn't even get the car because I had bad credit. I had to get a co-signer. Shout out to my guy, Kevin, right? Kevin
Yes.
came through. But I didn't even know what I was asking of Kevin when I asked him to be a co-signer.
Right.
When someone becomes a co-signer, you're saying, if you decide that you're not going to make these payments anymore, hello, I'm Mr. Co-signer. I am the one that's going to assume the responsibility. And I'm saying to the financial institution or whoever, you can come after me if you decide not to pay.
Right.
That's quite a responsibility. But I didn't know nothing about credit. So I didn't know what I was putting my friend in, but I was very responsible. I
Right.
paid the car off. But I was paying 18.9% interest rate on a used car, right? My payments were like $540 or $550 a month. I was a new driver. So my insurance was through the roof, and I lived in New York. So I was paying $900 plus for a used.
It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy.
It
now.
sounds wild,
Yeah.
right? For a used Nissan Altima,
Right.
a used Nissan Altima with 75,000 miles, I had a $900 payment. Yeah, that part.
So look, I know you had to end up getting your credit repair. You said you had bad credit. How do I even know when it's a credible credit repair company versus one that's scamming?
Very good question. Receipts, right? And I'm not talking just somebody. If someone only has screenshots, I would be weary. There must be somebody that's willing to go in front of the camera and say, "Yo, I went through the range program. It completely changed." Like, there gotta be somebody on camera, bro. So you gotta do your due diligence. Check testimonials. Do they got a website? Do they got a number you can call? Do they have a professional email? Can you go see this person?
Facts.
Right?
Can you
Does
see
this
them?
person do online classes? Or is there a mastermind I can join? Or does this person put on a conference? Like, if this person is only on social media and I can never see you anywhere, I can't see you on a podcast, everything that you have is such a secret that I can't research it. Come on, something's fishy.
It's a little fishy.
It's fishy.
Yeah, so you saying video testimonials.
Mm-hmm.
I love what you just said, podcast. Very.
Other people got to know that you're real. Do you have a script? Are you reading everything from book? Do you know your craft?
Do you know it?
Who would you feel comfortable going to? A surgeon that's going to just go through the whole procedure, or a surgeon that's going to have a stand right here, flipping through the books, reading? So now I need to make this diagonal cut. Oh, I need to get some pins. I need to pin the skin down. Who are you going to go to?
Right.
The surgeon that knows his stuff, or the one that's reading from the book and doing the operation on you right now?
Facts. You definitely the one that knows. Definitely the one that knows. And so building authority is like one of the most ways that you can make yourself more credible online.
And credibility goes a far way because there's so much noise and there's a lot of people scamming.
Right.
And like I said, if that person, I'm not going to say that every business owner, the consumer, you're going to be able to get on a call with them. But if they don't have a staff in place, one, there's no email. You can't get to them through email. It's only buy my stuff. There's no social media presence. I can't even see you on a podcast or see you at other people's events. Like, are you Houdini? Like, are you the best? Like, somebody gotta know you. And if your only presence is you selling something, and there is no events, I'd be weary of that person.
Right. And then after you even know that person, though, even after you know them, you feel like you could trust them enough to pay. It's like, at what point, how do you feel comfortable to give this person your personal information? Like, how do you know this person's not going to eventually sell it? You know, they come down on hard times, give it to their homeboy. You know, how do you know? How do you feel comfortable?
Integrity goes a far way. And where integrity comes in now is integrity comes in if this person say they're going to do something, does this person always do what they say? Right? Is this person coming on lives, giving away free game? Right?
Right.
Like, can you really walk me through what a charge-off is? Can you walk me through what a bankruptcy is? Can I go watch 40 or 100 hours of your free content somewhere online? Do you know how many people come up to me like, bro, you've helped me. I'm like, you're in a university? They're like, no, bro, but I'm subscribed to your YouTube. I've used your YouTube not only to fix my credit, but my whole, like, people like you. All right. The other day, I was at the car wash, right? I saw this dude just coming up to me smiling. I'm like, all right, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah. Something's going on. And he's like, yo, I want to say thank you. And my girl want to say thank you as well. I'm like, for what? He's like, bro, your channel literally saved our marriage.
Wow. The free game on YouTube.
Free game on YouTube. I got pulled over, right? My car is tinted, right? So you can't know who was in the car. I got pulled over, of course. Tints are illegal,
too dark,
right? And the cop came up and we were talking. And he's like, "I know you." I'm like, "No, my first time seeing you. I don't be getting pulled over often, so I'm not one of those dudes." And he's like, "Nah, bro, I know you." And then he's like, "Credit hero." I'm like, "What's up, bro?" He's like, "Yo, you helped me get rid of a bankruptcy. Man, go about your business, bro." Swear to God, true story.
Wow.
Yep, got pulled over for tints. My guy said, "Go about your business."
Now that gets to my next question, because my next question is, why should people trust you?
Why should people trust me is a very, very good question, because I'm not gonna advocate on why you should trust me. I think Herman, Haitian CEO, says it best. Success has receipts, right? I don't think you can say it any other way. Right. Success has receipts. And Google me, right? Just go on a binge. I promise you, you can go on a month binge of just free content. And if my free content cannot help you, do not trust me. If my free game cannot give you a result, do not trust me. I'm not worth it.
Right. Like I utilize that when I create content. It's like every piece of content should be worth $5. Somebody should be willing to pay $5 for this piece of content. If they're not willing to pay for it, then it's not worthy enough. These people wouldn't be able to pay you. It's supposed to, that free content is supposed to use to attract people in, so then they can get through your funnel for them to eventually become a paying customer.
So Myron said this. Myron said, Daraine, if you cannot give your best for free, you don't know enough. And I've seen it with so many people trying to be gatekeepers. There's so much information out there. Like the whole gatekeeping, oh, I'm not going to tell you until you join my program. Bro, come on, seriously. Like, I'm not going to say give away all the stuff that makes your program unique, but if you can articulate and explain something to someone and they can go do the research for themselves, a lot of people aren't willing to share with people where they get their information from. Right. Because they are scared that if you go and find the information, you won't need my services. So the scarcity mentality is what keeps a lot of business owners, especially in credit, from growing. Right. Because they think that if I put you on to some bankruptcy game or some charge-off game, that you'd never come back. But everybody that came back in my program are people that got my free stuff. They went to research it and they're like, yo, this dude is legit. This is the dude I want to learn from. Because I told them, I'm like, yo, go to 15 USC 1681A 2A1. That's where late payments are illegal. 15 USC 1666B. It tells you about late payment. So now you can go read it for yourself. I'm not lying. Go and look.
Look, so where do you get your information from? I know that there's books. What is it, like the Black Law book?
Black's Law, banking books, Cornell Law, CFPB website, FTC website, different books. I got a lot of books about credit. Because as soon as somebody said they drop a credit book, I'm gonna read it because I want to know, is there a new game that I'm not hip on? Yeah. Right. So if I see some new game somewhere now, I can go research it up. And like not learning consumer law cost me 357.5 points on my credit because I didn't know that a utilization didn't exist. I didn't know that late payments were illegal. Now I know that a company can pull your information if there's not written permissible purpose, and the law is specific as to what permissible purpose is, and a consumer reporting agency cannot give disclosures to say that, oh, we have a legitimate business reason to pull the credit or to sell your information to somebody. No, the law says that there needs to be written permission, 15 USC 1681B2, and in that it F3 or FA speaks about now what those reasons are to possibly for someone to pull the reports. And then it came out with another law that explains all of it as to what is required for a dealership, a bank, an institution, anyone to really pull your credit. It spoke about bankruptcy and the reporting of public record. It speaks about consumer reporting agencies, consumer reporting agencies are prohibited from sharing or giving your information to any person. And we know a person means a corporation without a known permissible purpose. So there's a lot of stuff out there, but people don't know how to use it. So what you learn when you join the university and the mentorship is you're learning how to use consumer law now the way it was intended as a protection for you, the consumer, because debt collectors don't care. They don't care if what they're reporting is accurate. Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, worse, don't care. They make a consumer with good credit or a consumer with bad credit. Who do you think the consumer reporting agency makes the most money from?
Bad credit.
And a lot of people would say, Daraine, why would you say that? The first thing when a person gets denied, you know what they do right after? They go apply 5 more times. Right? Because they're in denial. So they're gonna go to everybody, right? And each time the consumer report gets pulled, somebody's paying for it to get pulled. Right? Somebody's paying. So if somebody's paying and the average person that gets denied is gonna apply maybe 3 to 5 more times versus you with your 800, You got pulled once, and you got approved. You probably won't need credit again for another 6 to 12 months. But the person with bad credit, they're making bad decisions.
Right.
Credit cards are maxed out, so they're trying to apply for more cars. They can't get approved over here, so they're going to go over there. Then they're going to go get a subprime loan. You see where this is going? So bad credit is so profitable. They don't care if the information is accurate. If they had cared, why would there be a law that speaks about Fair Credit Reporting Act? Like, why would there even be a law that says this stuff must be fair and accurate if they weren't doing the illegal stuff from the jump? All right. Have you ever called into your bank and they'll say, "Oh, we value your security, your information is our utmost concern." Such liars. All right. Wells Fargo, $3.4 billion lawsuit for illegal late fees, illegal repossession, illegal foreclosures. All right. Bank of America, $250 million, right? Illegal junk fees, late payment fees, overdraft fees, late payment fees, overdraft fees. They had some other fees in there that didn't make any sense. Some of them were actually created fake accounts.
Word.
Some of them were actually misapplying the payment.
Oh, well.
So, when you misapply a payment, it becomes, quote unquote, a late payment. A late payment now has what? A $35 late fee, right? Overdraft fee. So now the account is overdraft. That's another $35.
Thanks.
Right? So now you multiply that by 100 million consumers. That's quite a paycheck. And that's free money.
Yo, so it just seems like the whole world is a scam, man. Like we're dealing with the VA home loan, a scam, college, a scam, and then the banks even scamming us.
The banks are the original OGs.
They're the OG.
Yeah, because you gotta comprehend 1913 when they went to Jekyll Island and the Federal Reserve was born in America. See, a lot of people don't comprehend their history. If a nation does not comprehend its history or know its history, you know not where your future is going. The things that happened in the past have a way of repeating themselves, and it's foundation to what we now call our norms. So as we evaluate, well, how does the banks make money? All right, look at it this way. When I use cash and I pay you cash, right? You get it, then you pay Marcus. Marcus gets the cash. Then Marcus gets the cash. He pays Maurice. Maurice now gets it's circulating, right? Eventually, it's gonna come back to me. All right. Think about this now. When we're using the ETFs, the electronic transfer funds, or your debit card, your credit card, whatever y'all want to call it. All right. So let's say the account now has about $2,000 in there. All right, cool. We make a transaction. We're paying a 1.5% transaction fee, right?
Every time.
Okay. So every time the bank gets a cut, every single time. Well, if that circulation keeps going on, I pay you, you pay Marcus, Marcus pays Maurice, and there's a 1.5 that's coming out. By the end of all of our transaction, the bank now has all the money. It is gone. Because all of us paid 1.5 in fees. It adds up to 100%.
Well,
so this is why there's a big push to digital, because with digital now, they have sole control over the money. Because if I got my cash in my house, a bank can't come in here and take my cash. Have you ever gone to the ATM and you'll probably, you're rich, so you'll probably have a good 50,000 or 100 just stacked up. And you're like, I feel like going for 10 grand. Oh, the bank's closed. Let me go to the ATM. Oh, you've passed your limit. I only took $500 out.
Yeah.
Where's the rest of my money? Oh, can't get it. 24 hours later.
Yeah, the banks only allow you to get a certain amount out per day.
Isn't that such hypocrisy? It's yours, right?
Yeah.
But You can put $10,000 in the bank. By law, the banks were supposed to keep 10%. From what I'm learning now, they're not required to keep anything. It's called fractional reserve banking, where now they took 90% out and they lend your 90% to somebody else.
Right.
That somebody else is paying maybe 5 to 18%. But your account is making 0.001, 0.002. But your money got lent out and they're making 10, 15, 18%. Like, who is getting the short end of the stick?
Oh, definitely.
Not to mention, I can only pull maybe $500 or $1,000 a day out of the ATM. And you're telling me this stuff is not a scam? Like, there's so many scams that's so normalized. People don't even know that it's scams anymore. Hear me out. I'm not saying that y'all shouldn't go to school, right? That's not what I'm saying. We need our lawyers, our doctors, our CPAs,
For sure.
our nurses. You know, we need our essential workers. But you go to school. They tell you to go to school, right? You go to school and you come out with student loans. And student loans are maybe $100K. And you're making $40,000 gross, not net, gross. And then you're supposed to live, you're supposed to save, you're supposed to have a home, you're supposed to have a white picket fence, 2.5 kids, and still pay the student loan. At what point will you finish paying that student loan? If you're barely surviving off of everything that's left, because remember, that $40,000 a year is gross. That 25 or 35% tax didn't come out of it yet.
Look, but I know Biden just forgave student loans. But, you know, the homie told me that you can get them taken off the report.
Come on, those are easy.
What's the sauce?
Okay. Anything on your credit can be deleted. Any single thing. What you have to learn is the FICO pie chart, right? People think that a FICO score is your credit. It's not. A FICO score is only a risk score. Your credit or your consumer report is the information needed to generate the FICO score. A FICO score or a FICO and its algorithm has nothing to do with your consumer report. They're completely independent. A FICO score only exists with the information from your consumer reports. So FICO is an algorithm that's an industry standard for a risk score model that lenders use to gauge your credibility and your eligibility when they're going to extend credit to you, right? It starts from 300, it ends at 850. It's better if I show you. I'm going to show y'all why I'm the credit hero.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to show y'all why consumer law is the gold, and I'm going to show y'all why or how I regained 357.5 points, and that's how I built out an 800 credit score 3 times, and I wrote a FICO ebook that I'm going to tell you guys about. I'm going to show you guys the whole breakdown. So the reason why I am the best at credit, and I can say this, I can take on a whole panel of credit repair business owners and still win, even 10 against 1, just like Thanos whooped everybody in Avengers, right? So a lot of us know about FICO, right? And FICO is the industry standard. In this industry standard, the FICO ranges from 300 to 850, right? So that gives us what? 550 points. Now, these 550 points, they're broken down into categories. So the categories, we have payment history. Then we have what? Utilization. After utilization, we have age. After age, we got mix, the mixture of the credit, and then we have queries, right? This is what makes up the FICO algorithm. This is what? 35%, 30, 15, 10, and 10. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that this also, see how the board is cool? Right? This also, remember earlier we spoke about the 550 points?
Right.
This is broken down into these categories.
Okay.
So at 35%, we have 192.5 points. Here we have 165. Here we have 82.5, 55, and then we got 55. This totaling 550, this totaling 100%.
What about the 850, like the 850 credit score?
550 is the scale of 300 to 850.
Oh yeah, you can't go long. You can't
Correct.
go lower
This
than
is the
300.
lowest, quote unquote, you're supposed to be on the FICO scale, and this is the maximum.
But technically, I've seen people have a 0. They don't have a score.
Well, that's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing to report. So a lot of people don't know that how credit is calculated is by information. So if the information is good, you got a high credit score. If the information is bad, you got a low credit score.
Right.
Right? So information changes whether the credit report, the credit score goes up or down, but it's the information from your consumer report. Now, late payments fall into this category. Late payments. Late payments can affect you up to what? 192.5 points. That's the category. Maxing out your credit cards, when people max out, potentially they're losing up to 165 points. But guess what? Late payments or payment history, these two does not exist on your consumer reports. And this was when I learned the game. This was how I built out the 800. These only exist for FICO.
Right.
It has nothing to do with your consumer report.
So your FICO and your consumer report are two different things.
Absolutely.
Right.
Let me prove it. Take your phone out, right?
Gotcha.
I want you to Google 15 USC. So we're going to Google 15 USC 1681A. And we're going to go to number 2, exclusions.
Got you.
Go down to number 2 to exclusions.
I'm here.
What does it say?
Except as provided in paragraph 3, the term consumer report does not include.
Does not include. The term consumer report does not include, right?
Right.
So is it fair to say that whatever they're about to say right now is not included?
It's not included in
It's
your
not
consumer
included,
report.
right? In the consumer report. Click the word consumer report. Let's find out what consumer report means.
In general, the term consumer report means any written, oral, or other communication of any information by a consumer reporting agency bearing on a consumer's credit worthiness, credit standing, credit capacity, character, general reputation, personal characteristics, or mode of living, which is used or expected to be used or collected in whole or in part of the purpose or for the purpose of serving as a factor in establishing the consumer's eligibility for.
When you read the definition of what your consumer report means, and that's law, that's Congress, did you see anything about a FICO score?
Nope.
Did you see anything about a Vantage score?
Nope.
FICO and Vantage does not exist on the consumer report. The consumer report is independent of FICO or Vantage and any of their factors. So it simply means that the factors that contribute to making up a FICO and a Vantage is not necessarily what is included or should be included on your consumer report. So now, learning this, well, the factors of FICO are payment history, utilization, age, mix, inquiries.
Right.
But these factors are irrelevant because the consumer report is independent of these factors. A FICO score cannot exist without the information from your consumer report. Your consumer report exists without a FICO score because when you go to annualcreditreport.com, you're able to pull your reports and there's no FICO scores attached.
There's no scores.
There's no scores. FICO is an independent company. Fair Assets Corporation. It's a private company. It has nothing to do with the government, no government affiliation whatsoever. The same thing with Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Also private companies that has nothing to do with the government.
I'm not gonna lie, you blowing my mind right now.
Right?
You about to make me crack.
This is how I cracked the code.
Yeah.
So when I learned this, I want you to finish reading number 2, the exclusions.
Does not include A, report containing information solely as to transactions or experiences.
Transactions. And what?
Experiences between the consumer and the person making the report.
Click on that word person. What does that mean?
The term person means an individual, partnership, corporation, trust, estate.
Corporation. Well, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Capital One, Chase, Navy Federal, MCU, these are all corporations. So the transaction between the consumer and the corporation making the report is excluded from your consumer report. So if Congress says that, your payment history, isn't that your transaction history?
Yeah.
So if Congress says transactions are excluded, where does a late payment come from? It doesn't exist.
It's not real.
A late payment is not a factor on your consumer report. It is only a factor for FICO. FICO does not make your consumer reports. What's a scam that's been so normalized that we don't know it's a scam? Credit.
Credit is the scam.
Not the credit itself. The assumption of knowing what credit is.
Not understanding how credit works.
Correct. What are these factors we're talking about? Who is FICO? Who is Experian? Who is TransUnion? Who is Equifax?
Right.
Where did the word credit bureau even come from?
Where did it come from?
It's a made-up word. It's a play upon words. My people are destroyed because of what? A lack of knowledge. So if we know that in the beginning was the Word, we know the Word was with God and the Word became flesh. Isn't it safe to say the Word is the most powerful thing? Control a population's mind. You can control and influence all your behavior.
I love that, like, because I just read this book called The Four Agreements, and the first agreement is be impeccable with your word, because your word is your world, and so the more that you say, everything that you say influence the people around you, also influence your own thoughts.
The power of water. So if what we speak unto ourselves become flesh, and everything about a future outcome is a lie because it hasn't happened yet, you have to make it up. Well, if I make up the conditions that I want to happen for me, why would I not make up the outcomes that I want? But a lot of people, what they're going to say, oh, I've always had bad credit. I don't know about credit. I always get denied. Well, that's why you keep getting denied, because of the words you are using on yourself. So when I learned this, I was able to regain. How much is 192.5 plus 165?
357.
3.5.
So this is
when
what you've been
I
saying.
learned this,
This is what you got back.
that is what I got back. And that was how I was able to build an 800 credit score 3 times in 1 year.
Wow.
Game changer.
So what do you do with that? Like, now that you have it back, like, how do you control that?
If you control the information, you control the credit score. The information gives the credit score. The person that controls the information controls the score. So now if you know that you can delete anything from your credit, well, I want you to look up 15 USC.
Obligations with respect to disclosures of personal information. So what I have here, it says, except as otherwise provided in this subchapter, a financial institution may not directly or through any affiliate disclose any non-affiliated third party, any non-public personal information, unless such financial institution provides or has provided to the consumer a notice that complies with section 6803 of this title.
So there's a section there called opt-out, right? This is one of my secret weapons I'm about to share right now. I want you to read what opt-out says.
This is the secret. This is the secret.
That's a secret weapon.
This is that guy. All right. So opt-out. A financial institution may not disclose non-public personal information to a non-affiliated third party unless such financial institution clearly or conspicuously disclosed to the consumer in writing or in electronic form or other form permitted by the regulations prescribed under section 6804 of this title, that such information may be disclosed to such third party. B, the consumer is given the opportunity before the time that such information is initially disclosed to direct such information not to be disclosed to such third party. C, the consumer is given an explanation of how the consumer can exercise that non-disclosure option.
Okay, so what did you get from reading B?
Is that they basically need to tell you, they need to communicate that they're going to disclose your information.
Correct. See, a consumer reporting agency or a financial institution cannot disclose your information without giving you 3 disclosures that you have to agree to. If you don't agree to A, B, and C, by law, they cannot disclose your information. Oftentimes, we get one disclosure, which is A. And A says, before they disclose your information, they need to tell you. That's the normal disclosure you will see, but a lot of people don't know that B and C are missing. So the actual reporting of their information is actually fraudulent because, one, they didn't get B and C, and B says that before the time that they report your information, they must give the consumer that disclosure. And then C says when they give that consumer that disclosure and the consumer decides to opt out or not have that information disclosed, they need to now tell you what you need to do not to have the information reported. But guess what? They never did. They never gave the consumers B and see. Because if people knew that they controlled what got reported, it would have been a different game.
Oh, so you said you could remove anything. You can remove mortgages.
We've done a lot of mortgages.
You've done mortgages, car loans, auto loans,
repossession, open accounts, close accounts, collections. Collections is so easy. Like, people don't know that you don't have to pay collection. I'm sure you've heard of that before.
Right, yeah, don't pay the collections, just get it removed.
The next time you hear somebody say that, ask them what law says that.
What law says that?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. 15 USC 1692 CC. Go ahead, look it up.
All right, let me see.
15 USC 1692 CC. Please enlighten the people. What does it say?
If a consumer notifies a debt collector in writing that the consumer refuses to pay a debt.
If a consumer what?
Notifies a debt collector in writing that the consumer refuses to pay a debt.
Refuses to pay a debt. Wait, the law says I can refuse to pay a debt? Keep going.
Or that the consumer wishes the debt collector to cease further communication with the consumer. The debt collector shall not communicate further with the consumer with respect to such debt.
Unless
to advise the consumer that the debt collector's further efforts are being terminated.
Okay, so Congress gives 3 responses. They can only respond to you in one of 3 ways.
Right.
Don't send me no statement. Don't send me no contract. The law says when you put in a refusal to pay or a cease and desist, they only have 3 ways to respond to you. What are the 3 ways?
That the efforts are being terminated.
That's one.
That they're no longer going to be contacting you. To notify the consumer that the debt collector or creditor may invoke specified remedies, which are ordinarily invoked by such debt collector or creditor. Or 3, where applicable, to notify the consumer that the debt collector or creditor intends to invoke a specified remedy.
That's it. So when people are getting all these statements and all these other things about validated and verified and all these weird stuff, when you use a cease and desist, effectively, a debt collector only has 3 responses by law. Any responses outside of those 3 are a violation, and you can sue for civil damages. You can sue under civil liability, and you can get paid up to $1,000 per violation.
So look, you know when you go to college, you get student loans, you apply for FAFSA, right? You sign, you have a signature saying that you're taking out these loans. Is it predatory and is it illegal for them to send the government to send these signatures off to these agencies? Is that illegal? Is that predatory?
Well, no, this is where contract law comes in, and you may or may not have given them permission that they could assign the collection activities to another company. Some people sign it, some people don't. But if it's not in the terms and agreement in your contract, it now becomes illegal, because you have to be informed how your information is going to be used. If you are not informed about how your information is going to be used, and they sell these debts and do all of these things, well, does this person that's attempting to collect even have the right to collect? The next question now becomes, my information is supposed to be private. My information is supposed to be confidential. So when we go to 15 USC 6801, it speaks about the protection of our non-public personal information and the ongoing responsibility financial institutions have to protect your personal information because it is private and it must be kept confidential. That's a breach of that law.
Wow. So as long as you read the terms and conditions, that's
very important.
Very important.
Very important.
Most people skip that part.
They don't read. It's the most important. Why do you think they make the terms and conditions so long with such a fine print that it's unattractive? The details are in the devil, or the devil's in the details. Which one is it? The devil's in the details.
Right, yeah.
Right? So the clauses that's going to get you are inside those fine prints, and everybody skips over the fine prints.
Yeah, everyone does.
It's the most important part of any contract.
Look, so when you are applying for credit, Like one of the most common things that gets people denied or like make you look not credible is having like 20 different addresses. You know, that all the personal information that you say is supposed to be private. Like how are the banks utilizing this information to make you look not credible? And why does it make you look not credible to have that?
All right. So it can be from a few reasons, right? One, you could be a victim of identity theft. So names other than your names are showing up. That's number one. Number two, you might have a name that a lot of other people have. And some of the ways how the consumer reporting agencies put information on the report, it's called like name matching, right? So if the names are the same, well, this must belong to you.
Right.
So you'll find that common with where there's a junior and a senior, like a dad or some that has the same name. You'll find out that information from the dad's credit history reports to the son, or the son may report to the dad because the names are the same.
Oh, really?
So they do a very poor job of matching information, and it's one of the reasons why the FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, was created. The other thing now is you have people that are just scammers, right? And what they're doing is they're applying for lines of credit using 5, 6, 7 different names. Right. And then now you have the applications where someone don't have great penmanship, because if they went and they filled it out in person, someone can misconstrue an I for an L. You get what I'm saying? So now we have inaccurate spelling, or let's say it was an online application. The persons now that is inputting the information, that's human error, where they left out an A, they left out an I. They saw Miguel and think it was Michael.
Right.
You see where I'm going with this? So there's various reasons why inaccurate information can be on there. Your job as the consumer is to go and check your reports. Minimum once a week, right? Check the reports. It's free anyway. Check the reports and make sure that your information is correct. Freeze your reports. Freeze all of them so no one can access your credit profiles or your consumer reports without you giving authorizations. This is why a lot of people fall so much to identity theft, because there's no freeze on their consumer reports, not the big three or from Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, or the small four like ARS, Innovis, SageStream, LexisNexis. Like they don't have those freezes in place. So people that are scammers or people that specialize in identity theft, they'll go use your information, open up accounts, run up a bag, and before you know it, you're being sent to collections with a $60,000 debt that you have no idea even ever existed.
Facts. And I also noticed that you said that a bank reported bankruptcy can also be seen as identity theft.
Yes. So when it comes to bankruptcy, is it really a bankruptcy or is it really identity theft?
What do you mean?
The law is specific about how information gets reported.
Okay.
So the definition of identity theft is using let's look it up, because I want people to really get what I'm saying.
Well, I need to look up.
18 USC.
I love this, by the way.
1028A.
1028A. Yeah, it's like, don't trust me, trust the deeds.
I'm telling you, what does Herman say? Success has receipts. So when you see it for yourself, you can't say Daraine said it. You done look it up for yourself. Congress said it.
Facts.
You want to blame somebody, go blame them. They wrote it. I just memorized this stuff.
Facts. Hey, look, so where we at?
1028A, aggravated identity theft.
All right, cool. So in A, offenses. In general, whoever during and in any relation to any felony violation enumerated in subsection C, knowingly transfers, possesses, or uses without lawful authority a means of identification of any person shall, in addition to punishment provided for such felony, be sentenced to a term imprisonment of 2 years.
So any person that possesses, uses, what else was there?
Yeah, without lawful authority.
Addition.
Yeah.
A means of identification of another person, right?
Right.
All right.
Yeah, you'll be sentenced to prison for 2
Correct.
years.
So permissible purpose says, go to 15 USC 1681B2.
One last time.
15 USC 1681B2. So number 2 should be number 2.
All right, look. In accordance with the written instructions of the consumer to whom it relates.
Written instructions. Now, I want you to read the top right here. Read up there.
Subject to subsection C, any consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other.
All right. A consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other,
No
right?
other.
So if you're not doing what I'm about to tell you to do, you cannot furnish information, yes?
Right.
That's what it says.
Yes.
Okay. Well, who's a consumer reporting agency? Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, LexisNexis, SageStream, ARS, Innovis, LCI, and all the other ones, right? MIB, all of them. A consumer reporting agency cannot furnish information to any person. Well, earlier you looked up the definition of what Congress says the word person means. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean? Corporation, right?
A corporation.
Corporation. So Equifax is a corporation. TransUnion is a corporation. LCI is a corporation. LexisNexis is a corporation. What are they also? Consumer reporting agency. So that also means that another consumer reporting agency furnishing information to another consumer reporting agency. Now, I want you to reread it.
All right. Subject to subsection C, any consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other.
Read number 2 now.
In accordance with the written instructions of the consumer to whom it relates.
Do you remember at any point in time giving TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, LexisNexis any written permission to report your information?
No.
Okay. What did 1028A says? Any person that uses, transfers, possesses a means of identification of another person without lawful authority is what? Aggravated identity theft. So is it really a bankruptcy or is it really identity theft?
Or is it really identity theft?
Who gave them permission?
Look, and I know that you were saying that, I know I keep bouncing, but when someone has all that information on their credit report, they have a whole bunch of personal information, different names, et cetera. It kind of like makes me think about a CPN. What is a CPN? Yeah,
so
what
it's
the hell is
a
CPN?
credit privacy number. If you've learned nothing today, stay away from CPNs. People are going to jail for CPNs.
Right.
There's people that's packaging CPNs and saying, "Oh, go fix your credit the right way." Everything on your credit can be deleted. Like people want a microwave fix to a problem that they've had for years. Bad credit is not the problem. Your mind is the problem. Fix your mind, fix your credit. Not until I fix my mind was my credit fixed. Because if you take an old man and put him in a new car, he's still going to have the old experience. The mind needs to be changed. Be ye renowned through a new mind. The fight is in your mind. So for people that have bad credit, it's not that they have bad credit, they have bad credit habits, which results and show on their credit report. Fix the way you look at things. Until the root of the problem is solved, the outcome is going to be the same. Because what? A specific input gives you a specific output. If the same input is being put in there, you're going to get the same output. Change the input, the output changes. Fix your mind.
Dang. So look, I know on Money Man's Well Games. I don't know if you listen to Money Man. Look, on Money Man's Well Games, he talks about burning through business accounts. Like, what does that mean? How do you burn through business accounts? Like, I don't get it.
Well, there's different ways you can burn through it. Meaning you're spending all of what's in there.
Okay.
Right? So if this person have a lot of cash flow, and I don't know this person, But my take on it is, if this person got a lot of cash flow, and they're expanding their business, I guess, you can burn through your accounts, meaning that as it comes in, it's going out. It's just you're burning, nothing stays in the account. Now, it could be for expansion, it could be for tax purposes. I don't know, but that's the only way I can think about burning through an account. But why would I want to do that?
Right.
Maybe he has a reason. I don't know. It don't make no sense to me. If I'm going to burn through an account, I'm burning through my business accounts, buying and creating assets. That's how I'd burn through my accounts, to create and acquire more assets.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, you gave me clarity on that, because I was trying to figure that out for the minute. Like,
I hope he's buying assets.
Yeah, he definitely buying assets. Y'all know money, man. You gotta.
I guess that's what I would hope that's what he means when he says I'm burning through the accounts, because money staying in the bank is one of the stupidest things ever, because we don't benefit from it.
Right.
Like only the banks do.
The banks get 100% of
they're
that money.
the only ones benefiting from this. And this is why I recently opened up some life insurance policies. I ain't playing no game. Like it's the best savings account, because you can get like anywhere from 4 to 8%. Banks don't give you that. So what I'm doing now is whatever I have in savings, I'm dumping it into life insurance. IULs, whole lives.
Oh,
banks ain't shit.
That's a play, bro. That's a play. Look, I know that you said that a lot of people are out here teaching credit. Anybody could come face to face, head on head with you, and you'll beat them anytime if it's a conversation about credit.
It's not really in a confrontational sense. So I love competition. And when I say competition, I'm talking about healthy type of competition that we can benefit from. So with me, it's not really about the beating them, but I am a master of my craft.
Right.
I'm going to say, before you step to me, just know your stuff. And it's not in a bad way, but let's educate people the right way. And this is why I kept the Credit Summit. The Credit Summit is the first credit conference in the state of Georgia, because credit repair was illegal. So nobody was having no type of credit conference.
Is it legal now?
It's legal now.
In Georgia?
Yes,
oh, really?
it is. And I put on the first one the month after it got legal here. Right? So this is why y'all got to come to the Credit Summit. And this is where I'm bringing consumers and credit repair business owners together. I love credit repair business owners. I train the best credit repair business owners, right? Where the consumer law and being able to delete anything from the report. So some people might say, Daraine, why are you so hard on credit repair business owners? Because I want them to be the best. I need them to separate themselves from the fakes that's out there. Because if you only learn basic stuff about credit, you sound just like everybody else.
Right.
Learn the true thing about credit. Learn consumer law. Learn Metro 2. Learn factual dispute. Learn arbitration. Learn consumer law. Learn all the factors of credit. So now you are an authority in the space, and you do not sound like that guy who's just trying to hustle somebody. That's my problem.
And speaking of, like, how do you feel about people like Bandman Kevo making millions online selling credit letters on OnlyFans?
That's his business model. If his letters weren't working, nobody would be buying. So whatever he's selling, it means it's working.
Right.
Right? Make his money. If that's his business model, that's his business model. But if he has an OnlyFans, it means also whoever is buying from him have an opportunity to tap into him.
Right. So how do you feel about, why do so many people teach credit now? I know this was a wave, like this is a bubble.
There's 340 million people in America.
Right.
Ain't no way one person or one business can service everybody. We need more credit repair business people. We do. We need a lot more.
Oh, we need more?
More. There's 340 million people. There's Canada. There is the UK. There's South Africa. They all do credit. They all use a credit system that is at least 95% similar to the US. Really? So there's more people with credit problems than there are credit repair business owners to solve them.
Wow. So but I'm seeing a lot of people that look like us, like that are inside this industry speaking about credit, and they don't really know as much information as, like you say, like really studying the laws, really understanding how everything works, and not just knowing the basic information so you can separate yourself from others. So why do you feel like that's so important?
So if our people are destroyed through a lack of information, and in this case, credit has been a big factor because we've moved from being denied homes, being redlined by mortgage companies to subprime lending, all because we didn't know credit. So now, as we go into this woke era, and people are more aware of credit, they comprehend the uses of credit, what they need to do. Listen, um, Proverbs 11:26, right? A curse shall be upon the head of him who hoards the grain, but a blessing shall be upon the head of the one that sells it. When you learn this stuff, you cannot keep it for yourself. You have a moral responsibility, a moral obligation to go and help other people. Remember, I became a millionaire by solving people's problems. Solve people's problem, people will pay you to solve their problems.
That's a fact.
It is a fact. Like that's why we need a lot more. We need a lot more people in the credit industry. We do. There's not enough. But I advocate for teaching and doing the right thing. Don't go hustle nobody.
Right.
Become a legitimate business person. Somebody that I've had moms came up to me and brought their daughter saying, "Yo, I'm reading your stuff and I'm learning your stuff, and I brought my daughter to take notes. I'm driving 4 hours from state to state, and we cut the music out. Me, the husband, and the kids. We are listening to your YouTube channel." That stuff blew. That
Yeah.
stuff blew my mind.
It's impact.
People left their homes on Easter Sunday with their kids to sit in my conference.
Oh yeah.
So when we talk about changing lives, we're not here to hustle nobody. We're here to impact people, to change the narrative. We've been redlined, we've been scammed, we've been barred, we've been discriminated about. I don't even want to go into those. Like, a lot of stuff has happened to us.
Right.
And the biggest disadvantage we've had is the economic disadvantage, where our counterparts are taught these things in the home. At 6 years old, they're becoming authorized users. By the time they leave college, they got a 750 credit score.
Right.
We're not being taught that in the homes. We're taught about to put the light bill in your name. We're gonna put the cable in Marcus's name.
Yeah.
We're gonna put the
Co-sign.
lease in Maurice's name.
Yeah.
We're gonna have me co-sign now to get a car, and then we're gonna default on all the payments. So when we're coming out of school with collections,
Yeah. Crazy.
right? We're coming out of school with collection companies calling us. They're coming out of schools with a brand new car going to college.
Like, how do you feel about other gurus telling people to go ahead and, get the credit so they can get funding without telling them the facts of having a profitable business first, and then getting the funding to reinvest into the profitable business? Like, how do you feel about that?
So this is where due diligence comes in. Like, at some point, people got to take responsibility. Now, I'm not saying what some of these gurus are doing is correct, and I'm not saying that it's incorrect. But at what point does the consumer becomes responsible for their own education? Okay, it sounds cool to have 100 grand in credit. What are you going to do with it?
Right.
Are we going to buy assets or are we going to buy liabilities? Oh, I'm going to buy designer bags. I'm going to go to Bali. I'm going to go to Thailand. I'm going to go to Dubai. Oh, shit. Now you ran up 30 grand worth of vacation money. Who's going to pay it back? Somebody got to pay it back.
Yeah, those vacations are liability.
Right?
Yeah.
So make your vacation a tax deductible. Go become a legitimate business owner. I can do my business from anywhere in the world. All I need is a camera, mic, a cell phone, a tripod stand. I'm good to go, and a laptop. Shit, I only might need a laptop. I'm good to go. So now I'm going to Colombia for business purposes. I'm going to Jamaica. I'm going to Mexico for a mastermind, right? I'm going to Brazil for a mastermind. I'm going to all these places. These for business meetings. We're going for conferences. These are legitimate business deductions. I'm representing my brand all the time.
Always.
Right? So let's move from being just a consumer to becoming a business. Let's make our whole life a tax deduction, as my guy Carter would say. Why not deduct everything?
Right.
Bro, how do I deduct everything?
Facts.
Become a business owner.
Look, so I know you have to travel a lot. Even and right now, you're on a podcast run. Has it been profitable for you to consistently go on these podcasts? Like,
it's been. I'm blessed, and I'm very happy to say that I'm blessed for being able to change so many lives, because to every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So what you reap is what you sow. You can't expect to reap rewards to fruits you never planted the seed for. A lot of people want things but are not willing to do what it takes to become the person that have the thing. I want to do 100, maybe 200 podcasts. That means traveling all over the place.
right.
A lot of people are not willing to do that. So as a business owner now, when I become more visible to a lot more audience, I'm able to bring more people into my company. People are able to buy my letters, they're able to buy my ebooks, all of this great stuff. Like right now, what I was showing you guys earlier, and I was breaking down the FICO, like the FICO ebook that everybody that's watching now, all they got to do is text the word FICO to 917-993-5238. They now have an opportunity to get that ebook, get the letters that come with the ebook, use it to fix their own credit, because normally that ebook is $197 on my website. But because of the podcast, I'm able to give it to them for $47. Right? And if you were to take the individual letters from that book, it adds up to about $1,000, because there's like 10 letters in there, $99 a pop. But on the website, it's $197. It's $197. But on here, because they've been here with us, it's $47. It's simple. Take your phone out, right? Take your phone out. Go to your messages. Type FICO. Text it to 917-993-5238. I know I got an accent, so I'll say the number again. Text the word FICO to 917-993-5238. That text alone can change so many people's lives. But guess what? Every 9 out of 10 people that watches this episode, they're not going to do it. But they're still going to complain about having bad credit and not being able to do anything about it. It's only $47.
Right.
And people waste that doing dumb stuff all the time. Invest in yourself and use the information to change your whole dynamics. It did it for me. I put it in the whole book, and now y'all have it. You can lead a horse to the water. You cannot force it to drink.
Can't do that.
They're not going to drink.
Look, so are you using credit to fund your podcast, right?
Yeah. 100%.
100%. What's the best card to use? Like, are you getting like points on this? Like,
right now I'm using the Navy Federal, but this depends on what I'm doing too. Amex don't like me no more. I ran a few plays, and Amex said they don't like me no more.
Whoa.
I can't get into those plays on air. I can't get into those plays on air. But Amex don't really like me no more. I need to build that relationship back with Amex. But I think on one card I have 600,000 points, and I'm about to cash in on those points very soon. More than likely to buy equipment. Like a lot of my equipment here, I got most of them for free, because the points, you can hook up like your gold card to Amazon or your venture card or whatever, and then you can literally use those points to buy equipment. I bought a lot of stuff for free.
Oh wow, that's a play. That's a play. Look, I was watching YouTube. I'm almost done. I be asking questions, bro. I got the questions for days. But look, I was watching YouTube, and I saw a video with this dude called JT the Pocket Watcher, and your face on it.
JT. Okay.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Like, are you afraid of pocket watching with JT?
A lot of people want to be relevant, right? So a lot of people want to use other people as mortars, as bricks to build their empire, right?
Right.
Like, so if that's his thing, that's his thing. Like, I don't care what he thinks. Well, if he has such an issue, well, let's get on a podcast.
Let's talk it out.
Yeah, if you got an issue with what I do, let's get on a podcast, because guess what? I can pull receipts up of hundreds, if not thousands of people that I've helped. Let me see your receipts. You want to talk that talk? Herman says success has receipts.
Right.
I can pull mine up. Thousands of testimonials. Let me see you pull yours up. Are you having conferences? Are you on podcasts? Are you on your own show talking shit? Right? Whose conference are you showing up to? Who are you speaking to? Who is inviting you to speak on their platform to educate, elevate, and change people's lives? Are you spending thousands of dollars so people can come and learn and take what they've learned to go back home and not only change their life, but change your whole family's life? Pull some receipts out, because I got that shit for days. So if you want to take something, misinterpret it, and then, go and rant with it, that's kind of your fucking problem. I don't have a problem with you. I didn't even know you until a few weeks ago.
And that kind of leads me to my next question, because like Tony the Closer, I don't know how you feel. Like, are you afraid of Tony the Closer, or is he an ally to you?
I don't have nothing against Tony. We've never spoken, so I don't know Tony.
The reason I ask is because I say that he says that people who charge 10% for funding on the back end are scammers. Are scammers. So I didn't know how you felt about that.
Well, that's his opinion. We're all entitled to our own opinion. And if funding is their business model, how is it a scam if funding is their business? Because without that person that's doing the funding for you, you would have never gotten access to those lines of credit if you wasn't doing it yourself. It takes time, it takes knowledge, and it takes knowing what to do. So everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Shit, I can fly, right? I'm entitled to that if I want to. But what the point of what I'm saying is this. A lot of people have their own opinion. If that's his thing, that's his thing. I've never spoken to Tony. I have nothing against Tony.
Right.
As far as I know, he does what he does. I honestly don't care.
Don't care.
Nope.
I love how like level-headed you are. You know, as far as your
his success doesn't stop mine.
Right.
I don't care. I just don't care enough. I don't.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who tune in, and that kind of leads me to like one of my final questions is like, do you think that social media, subscribers, followers, you think that's the next credit score?
Eventually there might be a social score. I know China is already doing it, and it is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. That's why I believe people need to become financially free, learn how to print their own income, whether it's through businesses, through trading, through e-commerce, whatever. But people need to be able to set themselves up financially, because if this country ever implements a social score, it's going to be difficult for a lot of people.
Explain what do you mean, like, because you said China's already doing it. Like, what does it look like over there?
So there's different classes and different social scores based on your daily activities and stuff that you do. If you're a good citizen, you do everything right, you don't have any hiccups and stuff, you're a model citizen. You're gonna have a high social score. But if there's issues or incorrect stuff that came up that's actually not true, and those there's somewhat of a social score here, but it's not really defined. Like, for instance, like people that's been labeled sex offenders and pedophiles and stuff like that. That's kind of a social score, because now those people can't go to certain neighborhoods. They are restricted in where they can go. So even though we don't have it, quote unquote, saying that's a social score, it kind of is. That's why you always want to do the right thing. Just, do the right thing. Help as many people as you can. Change people's lives in a good way.
Yeah, your personal brand is really important. How people view you.
My reputation is a lot.
Right. What do people say about you when you're not in the room?
That part is important. It could be important and it could not be important, right? Because now you have to take into consideration, at what point does what people say affect the way you live?
Right.
Are we going to be living our lives to please everybody? No, I'm not. You can say whatever the shit you want to say. Because Whether I'm doing good, you're going to say something. If I'm doing bad, you're going to say something. So if you're going to say something regardless, why not I just live my life regardless of what you want to say?
Facts. Facts. All right, look, this is my last question for you, man. This is my last question for you.
What you got?
So do you think record labels are dead? Record labels are dead because people can fund their own lifestyle if they just had the right knowledge.
That's a good one. So there's three dudes that I've been seeing on YouTube. I don't really remember all of them names. I know one's Devon Tyrell. There's this white kid, he can really, really sing. And then there's this black dude that does it with him, and a Spanish dude, right? I can't remember their names, guys. So let's use Tory as a perfect example, right? Tory cracked the code to be an independent artist. I think, is it Chance the Rapper too? And
DDG.
And there's a few of them that cracked the code to not needing a label, right? But it's just like credit. It's not widespread information because that will take. I don't know much about the music industry, but let's say if a person learns about credit and financial literacy, and they're going into the music world, right? And they became a corporation, an LLC, and the flesh, the natural person is a representative of that LLC, right? So whatever business is being conducted is not being conducted between the natural person. It's between record label and the LLC to which I, Daraine Delevante, is an agent of. So now you have a contract with the LLC, not with me, the natural person.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about learning how to do personal funding, learning how to do business funding. Dude, you can rack up 10 LLCs, get $100,000 per LLC. That's $1 million in funding under 10 LLCs.
Right.
You can go push your own project.
Then you have your holding company. Then you have your
trust.
Your trust.
Correct.
You got your life insurance.
You got your life insurance policies in place. So when the business that's being done now, well, you're doing business with the trust.
Daraine, you gave a lot of game today. Look, you had to stand up on them. You had to stand up on them, and you had to give the games today. So I appreciate you so much for allowing me to interview you.
Yeah, most
this
definitely.
Has been amazing. Thank you so much for helping me level up, get to that next level. Again, this has been another episode of Level Up With Me with Daraine. You got any last words for him?
The greatest investment you will ever make is an investment in yourself. Do not be scared to invest in yourself. Believe in you. You are your greatest asset. Social media has a way of turning the things that people say into what it's not. There's going to be a lot of noise, and you have to learn how to tune these noise out. There's people that's going to like you whether you're doing good. There's people that's going to not like you. Like, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Do not let people bully you into doing things that you don't want to do. At the end of the day, you have to do what is most right for you. And that means investing in yourself, developing yourself, taking care of your emotional health, your mental health, gaining control over you and your emotional being, because what? We are emotional creatures. Energy in motion. People react emotionally. So once you can gain positive control of your emotions, ain't nothing nobody can say to faze you. You just, I don't care.
Look, kids, stay out of drama. Stay out the drama. Get you some money so you can make some commas.
Ooh.
I'm playing.
Stay out of drama. Make some money so you can make some commas.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah, so make sure y'all tune in for another episode. Like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate you again, Daraine. Thank you so much, man.
No problem. Y'all can find me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. Daraine Delevante. So that's DARAINE DELEVANTE. I am very Googleable. Like, could be a word, maybe. Just Google me, all right? I promise you, once you Google me, everything come up. Remember, success has receipt. Shout out to Haitian CEO. I love that quote very much. Don't forget, text the word FICO to 917-993-5238. Do not forget y'all Credit Summit tickets. Credit Summit is September 29th, 30, and October 1st, my national holiday. Text the word Summit to 917-993-5238. 5238. And yeah, you are your greatest investment.
Man, y'all gonna catch me there at the summit too. Can't wait to see
Let's go.
Can't wait to see y'all. Let's go. It's time to level up. Let's do it.